Today our cities are growing, with more and more people to fit in. Hey friends, it's Ben from Global Trends. Today we've got our second part of the series on global population. In the first video we discovered that the world's population has grown exponentially in the last 100 years, but that rate of growth has slowed to the point where it may actually stop growing in the middle of the century at around 9 billion people. And now we need to know why. Population grows when the number of births exceeds the number of deaths. But everybody dies, so really it's just about births. Okay, now if we have another look at the Worldometer population statistics, we can see that they're normally organised in order of population, with India and China at the top. If we look across though, we can see there's a column for fertility rate, which is the number of births per woman. It's generally accepted that around 2.1 is replacement, so that's where population either increases above that or decreases below that. So if we click on that column, we can sort by fertility rate, and we find that the low fertility rate countries have very low fertility rates, down to 0.7 for South Korea, but the high fertility rate countries like the Congo are up at 6, so they're growing exponentially. Now how does this all balance out? Well, first we need to look at some trends in that data. So we see that the low fertility rate countries were quite high not that long ago, but they came down. And India, in fact, has only just come down below replacement after decreasing steadily for around 50 years. But when they go below replacement, they stay there. No country goes back above that line. And the high fertility rate countries, well, they're coming down too. Not all as fast, but they're all coming down. There's hardly a country in the world that's increasing in fertility rate at the moment. So it looks like in the long term they will come down. When we look at the average of those high fertility rate countries, we see we can extrapolate from that data and end up with a situation where they're coming down to replacement around the middle of the century, conveniently lining up with when we thought the population would peak. So now when we look at the global fertility rate average, we find that it's actually come down to quite close to replacement. And given that there's no countries that are going up, but lots of countries that are decreasing, we can be confident that it's going to go below replacement soon. So when we look at the world by region, we find that only Africa has a fertility rate above replacement. The rest of the world is actually at or below. And Africa is only 1.5 billion out of the 8 billion people on the planet. So when they come down, we will definitely be falling in population. Now, if you're wondering why this is, it's because of economic development. As countries develop, their birth rate declines. We see that all over the world, and it's the reason why Asia dropped, because they went through a period of rapid economic development. Now, Africa is doing the same, and over the next 30 or 40 years, we're going to see Africa's birth rate decline very quickly as they develop. So the world's population will actually stabilise in the middle of the century and then fall, because we're not having as many babies. And we're not having as many babies because of economic development. Now in the next video we're going to have a look at what that means. Does it mean economic destruction of our systems, or does it mean that we can actually save the world from environmental disaster? Let's see what the numbers say.